The name that made the heart cry does not knock anymore. It simply enters, like it owns the place. It walks through my memories, opens old doors, sits on broken furniture, and calls it home. I watch it from a distance, unable to move, unable to speak, because some ghosts are louder than voices. The name breathes inside my pauses, inside the space where words should be, and fills them with ache. I try to replace it with hope, but hope stumbles. I try to replace it with time, but time refuses. The name that made the heart cry is stubborn. It knows my weaknesses. It knows my soft corners. It curls up in them, like a cat in the sun, unbothered by the damage it causes. I once tried to hate it, but hatred needed anger, and all I had was sadness. I once tried to love it, but love needed closeness, and all I had was distance. So I existed with it, neither friend nor enemy, just two things sharing a space. The name became the background of my life, like noise you stop noticing, until it suddenly stops, and the silence scares you. I realized one day, if it ever left, I would feel empty, not because I need the pain, but because the pain has been with me for so long. It feels like identity. The name that made the heart cry is stitched into my routine, into my habits, into my breathing. I wake with it, sleep with it, carry it like a pocket stone. Sometimes I forget it's there, until my chest reminds me. Sometimes I remember it too well, and my eyes pay the price. The name has aged, and so have I. We are both tired now, but neither of us leaves. We sit together in old memories, sharing silence, sharing regret, sharing things that can't be undone. The name that made the heart cry does not demand attention. It commands it. It does not beg for space. It occupies it. It does not seek permission. It assumes belonging. And maybe it does belong. Maybe I gave it that right when I cared, because caring is dangerous, and I care deeply. The name is the proof of that. I look at other people love, easily, lightly, freely, and I wonder how they survive without this weight. The name that made the heart cry made me cautious, made me careful, made me quiet. It taught me to measure words, to doubt smiles, to read between lines. It taught me that not every promise is meant to be kept, and not every forever is forever. The name sits in my trust, like a crack in glass, invisible at first, then suddenly everything shatters. I became gentle with others, because I know how easily hearts break. I became distant with myself, because I know how deeply I feel. The name that made the heart cry turned me into a contradiction, strong but fragile, brave but afraid, open but guarded. I laugh, but I flinch. I smile, but I scan. I love, but I hesitate. Because the name taught me loss before it taught me love. Sometimes I think, if I had never known it, my heart would be lighter. But then I realize, it would also be smaller. The name made me deep, even if it made me sad. It made me understand pain, even if it caused it. The name that made the heart cry gave me poetry, gave me silence, gave me late nights and heavy thoughts. It turned ordinary moments into storms, and simple words into wounds. It taught me that some feelings do not need reasons, they just exist. Like the name that made the heart cry is not dramatic, it is simple, and that is what hurts most. A simple name, with complicated consequences, a few letters, with endless impact. I see it sometimes, written somewhere, spoken by someone, and my world tilts, not enough to fall, but enough to notice. The name waits for those moments. It enjoys surprise. It enjoys reminding me that I am not as healed as I pretend. The name that made the heart cry is patient with my denial, gentle with my resistance, and ruthless with my truth. It knows I still care, even when I say I don't. It knows I still feel, even when I act numb. It knows me better than I know myself. And that is terrifying, because to be known and still be hurt is the deepest kind of pain. The name lives in my chest, not as a wound, but as a bruise, always tender, always sensitive. One wrong touch, one wrong thought, and it blooms again. The name that made the heart cry does not scream, it echoes. It echoes in empty rooms, in long drives, in quiet prayers. It echoes in moments of peace, just to prove it can. Even happiness is not safe, even joy is not protected, because the name has access. to everything. I sometimes wonder if it ever misses me, or if I am just a memory it outgrew. But I stop myself, because wondering is dangerous, and hope is fragile. The name that made the heart cry does not belong to me, but it owns me, and that is the hardest truth to accept, because we are told to move on, to let go, to be strong, but no one tells you how to evict a name from a heart. No one teaches that, so I live with it, I breathe with it, I ache with it. The name is my quiet companion, my unwanted roommate, my invisible weight, and some days, I am tired of carrying it. Some days, I am tired of being strong. Some days, I just want peace. But the name that made the heart cry does not understand peace. It only understands memory, and memory is endless. The name that made the heart cry did not come with thunder. It came with quiet footsteps, and that was more terrifying. It arrived like a forgotten song, suddenly remembered, and every note reopened a wound I thought time had sealed. I carried it through seasons, through changing skies and faces, through years that pretended to heal me, but never truly did. The name sat beside me in crowds, alone among thousands. It knew how to make loneliness loud, even in full rooms. It watched me smile at strangers, and whispered, "You are pretending." It watched me laugh at jokes, and whispered, "You are broken." The name that made the heart cry never needed to speak. Its presence was language enough. I tried to drown it in distractions, in work, in noise, in people. But it floated. It always floated. No matter how deep I sank, that name remained on the surface, waiting for me to look up. I built walls of logic, towers of reason, but the name slipped through the cracks. Like smoke, I told myself it was over, that it was done. But the heart laughed sadly, because the heart knew. The name that made the heart cry taught me that endings are lies. Some things never end, they only become quiet. It taught me that closure is a myth, invented by people who never truly loved. I folded it into my prayers, and God listened patiently. I folded it into my tears, and the night understood. Even the stars grew tired of watching me struggle with it, but they never judged, they only witnessed. The name lived in my questions, in my what ifs and why nots, in my unfinished sentences. Every dream had its outline, every hope carried its echo, every future wore its shadow. The name that made the heart cry did not fade with time. It aged with me. It grew older in my memory, wiser in my pain, deeper in my silence. I wondered if it remembered me, if it ever felt the same sting, or if I was alone in this quiet war. The name became a distance, a beautiful, cruel distance, close enough to hurt, far enough to never touch. I learned to breathe around it, to live despite it, to exist with it. The name sat in the corner of my strength, testing it daily, asking, "Are you still standing?" And I answered with tired courage, "Yes, but barely." The name that made the heart cry did not break me in one day. It broke me slowly, and that was worse. It broke me in small moments, in random thoughts, in unexpected memories. It broke me in grocery aisles, in empty roads, in the middle of laughter. Because pain is cruel like that. It chooses no time. It respects no place. The name waited in songs, hiding between lyrics, ready to strike. The name hid in perfumes, in familiar scents, in old photographs. The name that made the heart cry knew all my weak spots, and touched them gently, just enough to hurt. I tried to forgive it, but forgiveness needed answers. I tried to forget it, but forgetting needed distance, and I had neither. The name became a habit, like breathing, like blinking, like aching. I no longer noticed its presence, until it was gone for a moment, and the absence felt strange, because even pain becomes familiar, even wounds become homes. The name that made the heart cry taught me how to miss, even when nothing was mine. It taught me how to long, even when longing was useless. It taught me how to love, even when love had nowhere to go. I became fluent in silence. I mastered pretending, all because of a name. The name walked with my loneliness, hand in hand, like old friends. Sometimes I wondered if my heart would be lighter without it, or if it would be empty, because some pains fill us in a strange, cruel way. The name that made the heart cry did not steal my heart. It occupied it. It did not destroy my world. It reshaped it. I am not the same person. And I will never be. Because that name passed through me. And nothing remains untouched. The name became a chapter I never finished reading. A page I never turned. A story I never escaped. Even now, as I write, my hands hesitate. My chest tightens. Because the name listens. The name that made the heart cry is patient. It knows I cannot run forever. It knows I will stumble. And when I do, it will be there, not to hurt me, but to remind me that I once felt deeply, that I once cared dangerously, that I once loved recklessly. And maybe that is not a curse. Maybe that is proof that I am human. The name did not make me weak. It revealed my strength. It did not make me small. It showed me my depth. It did not end me. It carved me. And I walk with those carvings now. Like invisible tattoos. Like secret scars. The name that made the heart cry is not my enemy. It is my history. It is not my present. But it lives there. It is not my future. But it shaped it. Some nights I still whisper it. Not because I want it, but because it wants me. Some nights I still cry. Not because of it, but with it. The name sits beside my tears. Like an old companion. And we remember. We remember what was, what could have been, and what never will be. And in that remembering, the heart cries. Not loudly, but endlessly. The name that made the heart cry was never loud, never cruel. It was soft like evening dust. And still it broke the sky inside me. It arrived like a memory that didn't ask permission. Like a whisper that knew my wounds and touched them without mercy. I tried to pronounce it with strength, but my voice bent in the middle. Every letter carried a weight my chest could not hold. The name that made the heart cry did not shout, did not threaten. It simply existed, and that was enough to undo me. I wrote it once on the corner of hope. The ink bled into longing, and the page learned to weep. Even silence learned its shape. Even nights recognized its shadow. Even the moon lowered its eyes. When that name crossed my mind, I hid it in prayers. But prayers trembled. I buried it in patience. But patience cracked. The name that made the heart cry sat quietly in my chest, like an unhealed story that refuses to close. I smiled with it in my mouth, and the smile lost its meaning. I laughed with it in my eyes, and the laughter forgot its sound. It followed me through crowded roads, through empty rooms, through dreams that pretended to be safe. Wherever I went, that name arrived before me, opened the door, and waited. Sometimes I blamed myself, sometimes I blamed fate, but the name stayed innocent, as if pain was never its intention. It was just a name, yet it carried storms, yet it held winters, yet it knew how to break a heart gently. The name that made the heart cry was written on every unanswered question, on every delayed goodbye, on every, if only, I never spoke. I heard it in the rustling of leaves, in the tired sigh of evening, in the long breath of midnight. Even when I tried to forget, forgetfulness failed. Even when I tried to heal, healing hesitated. The name waited in the pause between breaths, in the space between two thoughts, in the silence after a tear falls. I asked the stars for mercy. They blinked and turned away. I asked time for distance. It only brought it closer. The name that made the heart cry never apologized, never explained. It simply stayed. It stayed like a scar you learn to hide, like a song you cannot finish, like a door you never close. Sometimes I whispered it to the dark, and the dark listened carefully. Sometimes I screamed it inside, and the inside collapsed. No one else heard the damage. No one else saw the ruins. But the heart knew. Oh, the heart knew. The name became a season. A long, endless season, where nothing fully bloomed, and nothing truly died. It lived in the corner of my courage. It slept in the lap of my fear. It drank from the cup of my hope. The name that made the heart cry did not come with knives. It came with memories, and memories are sharper. It came with promises, and promises are heavier. It came with dreams, and dreams are dangerous. I tried to replace it with new words, new faces, new stories. But every replacement felt borrowed, and every story felt thin. Because the name was not just a sound. It was a chapter. It was a universe. It was a wound with a voice. The name that made the heart cry taught me how to ache quietly, how to bleed without noise, how to survive without peace. I learned to walk with it, like a limp no one sees. I learned to live with it, like a secret no one knows. Even joy checked its presence. Even happiness asked permission. Before entering my life, the name sat between me and sleep, between me and rest, between me and myself. Sometimes I thought it left, and relief tried to smile. But then a memory knocked, and the door opened again. The name that made the heart cry was not a villain, it was a lesson, and lessons are always painful. It taught me that attachment is brave, that love is risky, that hearts are fragile, even when they look strong. It taught me that some names are not meant to be repeated, they are meant to be endured. The name became a mirror, showing me who I was, and who I could never be again. Every time I heard it in passing, the world paused, and my breath forgot its duty. Every time someone else spoke it, my chest answered, even when my lips stayed silent. The name that made the heart cry built a home in my ribs, and paid no rent, and never left. I tried to evict it with logic, but logic lost. I tried to burn it with anger, but anger tired. Only silence managed to sit with it. Only patience learned its language. Only pain understood its depth. The name became a prayer without words, a wound without blood, a story without end. I do not hate the name. I hate what it became. I do not curse the name. I curse the memories it carries. The name that made the heart cry is not written on my lips anymore, but it is carved in my chest. It is there when I wake. It is there when I sleep. It is there when I pretend to be fine. Sometimes I thank it, because it taught me depth. Sometimes I resent it, because it stole my ease. The name walks with my shadow, sits with my loneliness, and drinks tea with my tears. Even when I move on, a part of me stays behind, holding that name like a relic. The name that made the heart cry did not ruin me, but it rearranged me. It did not end me, but it changed me. It did not kill my heart, but it taught it how to break. And now I carry it not as a burden, but as a truth. Because some names are not meant to be erased, they are meant to be survived. Some names are not meant to be loved, they are meant to be remembered. And some names, like yours, are meant to make the heart cry, and the soul grow.